Just have a look here. I've got the projector next to me, in front of me. It's on the right side of the screen so that I don't have to constantly move somewhere across a big light, which is a vampire. I don't want to have to do that. Okay? So, title. It's all about the audience. And make sure you begin by presenting the title. It's probably the most important line on the slide. And what we're going to be looking at in this short presentation is the headline itself, the text size, what's the recommended text size for a PowerPoint presentation, the design, what do we use as design, timing, yeah, what about timing, laser pointers, we've discussed that a little bit in another part, but just show you again, big audiences and using the touch tone talk technique and the black button. Okay, so let's begin. Headline. It's all about the audience. The audience's need from the headline. When you're thinking about a headline, yeah, you've got to put the main message into that headline. The main message needs to be there because the audience uses the headline for orientation. And if you think about a 5 or a 6 slide presentation, those headlines should, on their own, tell a story. Those headlines should basically be an agenda for the presentation itself if you list them one by one over 6 points. Text size. The text size on this slide is 24 points, yeah? And what we're saying is a minimum of 24 points. If you've got a presentation in a big room, then you have to have 24 points as a minimum size to guarantee visibility to the back of the room. If you've got a really small room, then 22 is okay, but 20 already gets quite difficult for visibility, and people have to start screwing their eyes up. And if you're blind, like I am, then it's actually pretty difficult to read what is on the slide. Okay? We've also got there maximum of 7 bullets per slide. Okay? The reason we put maximum of 7 bullets per slide is because I've got 7 bullets on this slide. Now, a maximum of 7 bullets per slide basically says that in one bullet point you've got 4 or 5 or 6 words, and we've got a basic average of 40, 50 maximum words on one slide, and that fits nicely into 7 points and gives it a certain level of depth and meaning that you may need to get your point across. Design. Oh, sorry, there's just an example of the different text type on the slide itself, yeah? I'll show you that again. There's Times New Roman, size 24. And if you look at the difference to Arial bold or Helvetica bold, which is a sans serif font, then you'll see the visible difference very, very clearly in that example. Okay? Design. Just make sure it's easy to read, yeah? Which means no disturbing visuals, no logos, no watermarks behind the slide. Nothing that takes away the attention from the important piece of the slide, yeah? I'm not saying don't use pictures, but I am saying don't use pictures if the only purpose of the picture is to make the slide look pretty. So make sure your visuals have a purpose and a reason for being there. Timing. How long does it take to present a slide? Well, if you're like me, then it takes about 15 hours to present one slide effectively, but normal, mortal human beings generally take 3 minutes for a basic bullet slide. So if you've got a 30-minute presentation, you're looking at a maximum, total maximum of 10, maybe 12 slides, and generally speaking, the more that you need to interact with the audience, the less amount of slides you need to do. Okay? But as soon as you get a big audience, that reduces the number of slides again to the extent where if you're doing a presentation for 500 people over 40 minutes, you should only be using 4 or 5 or 6 slides, and those slides should be very heavy on visual and metaphorical content, because otherwise there's no way in this world that they will understand digital data, as you can see here. Laser pointers. We've spoken about it already. This is what happens when you use a laser pointer with the projector. You have to move away from the slide. You have to move over here, which means your eye contact has all of a sudden disappeared. Yeah? And that's the basic principle. I know you're not going to like it, but that's the principle. Yeah? Laser pointers decrease eye contact, and so if you're happy with not having eye contact, use the laser pointer to your heart's content. Big audiences and touch tone talk. Yeah? Well, the basic principle is use animation. Use your software to create an animated style of a presentation, which actually helps and doesn't hinder the presentation. And the technique is wiping in from the left. Just have a look at that on the slide. You wipe it in from the left-hand side. Once again, wipe it in from the left-hand side. Yeah? Because the wipe goes in the reading direction so that the audience's eyes don't need to move. Look at the headline. It's all about the audience. We're trying to make it easy for them to follow the content of the presentation. And finally, last but not least, the black button, which is B in English, but if you're in Spain, then it's not B. It is
N.
N for negro. Yeah? So you use the black button to send the screen black, and then all of a sudden, the attention of the audience comes to you. The black button is a very important button. You'll find it on your computer. Most computers have them. And if you don't have a black button on your computer, you use a little piece of paper over the projector to make sure that you can block out the light, so that in the situation where you want to go into questions and answers with your audience, you don't have this big vampire of the big white light behind you. You press the black button and all of the attention comes to you. So for beginning the presentation and for ending the presentation, which is what we're going to do now, make sure you've not got the slide on so the audience can look at that, and not you when you're saying your parting, final, important words such as these. Thank you very much. See you later.